Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning as we are this afternoon or evening, wherever you're logging in from around the world. We are running a quick poll while people join. So if you're online already, please enter our poll and we'll use that to steer some of the questions at the end. So we're just asking a question about how familiar you are with log drains, how you're interested in using them. So everyone's trickling in. If you just joined us, we're just running a quick poll here as we wait for people to join before we get started. Great. Well, 2 minutes past the hour. Let's get rolling. Thank you for being here today. We are talking about log drains. I don't know why I say it like that, but it's super fun. So you should try it too. According to the poll, it looks like most of you are not yet familiar with log drains and interested in learn. Yay, we're so excited about that because Melanie is here to tell you all about troubleshooting and alerting with Netlify Log Drains. Very exciting. Log drains. As a marketer myself, this is actually quite an exciting topic, even though I have no clue how I would actually use log drains. I know that it helps solve a massive problem that I have, which is running to the web team every time I need to figure out what the heck is going on with the website and how could I optimize it to make sure UX is just firing on all cylinders and we are able to really capitalize on whatever it is we're trying to do with the web, whether that's conversion rates or speed through traffic, what have you. So I am super excited to learn more myself. Before I introduce Melanie, let me cover a couple of things with housekeeping. I'm Samara, by the way. I run enterprise and partner marketing here at Netlify. And I am so excited about this topic. You're all in listen only mode. This session is being recorded, so you'll be able to tune back in or share it out with some of your colleagues. If this is an interesting topic for you, your marketers maybe about why they should care about log drains. We're going to be running a Q&A at the end. So there is a special Q&A button down at your bottom of your screen. Please use the Q&A and not the chat, and we will have some time for Melanie to cover those at the end. Code of conduct just basically says be kind and don't solicit while you're here, your fellow attendees. If you did not catch this in email, we are going to be running just a quick awards for coming out to join us today. So 3 of you will be awarded an Amazon gift card, $250 US in whichever international Amazon you want to shop at. So please stick around for the Q&A where we're going to award those 3 randomly selected winners of the attendees here. You do have to stay around for the Q&A to get that. So with that, let me introduce Melanie. Melanie is my colleague, and I'm so pleased to be able to to welcome her today. She's a product marketer, and she's she's obsessed with performance observability. Anyone who's talked to Melanie will know that is her just sweet spot, and super into web performance, etc. She's been at Netlify 2 years very soon. I think we have an anniversary coming up next week, Melanie. So we're just so excited to have Melanie here, who leads our developer workflow and framework ecosystem space within the product marketing team. So Melanie, with that, take it away for our speed run session.
Fantastic. Thank you for the intro, Samara. And honestly, listening to you talk about log drains, I feel like maybe you know more about this than I do. Maybe I should be handing it over to you to lead this presentation, but we're all going to learn today. This is going to be a speed run style. So I'm going to hit the ground running. I'm going to go fast. I'm going to stay high level, but at the end we'll have room for questions. And if there's anything I can't answer on the call today, which I'm hoping you'll stump me, we'll do the research and we'll follow up with you over email. You can also reach me directly. Find me on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn, give me a shout out. I'd love to connect with you and learn more about what brought you here. So let's get into the content. We're going to start super high level. What are log drains? Is it related to log houses? No. It's your logs, your data from your site or application, who's hitting your website, how are your functions performing, and you can drain that data, which basically means export it or stream it into another system so that you can do richer analysis. You may see log drains in other tools. It's very industry standard. It's not something that Netlify made up. You may see different formats like syslog format, but for Netlify, we're really sticking to JSON and DJSON format. So what data do you get when you start to drain your logs with log drains? From your Netlify account, there are two types of data that you can get out. So one is your site data, which is basically your traffic data or your analytics data, who's going to your website, from where, around the world, what type of device or user agent are they on, all of that stuff that you want to know about the performance of your website from like a marketing and UX standpoint is going to be your site traffic data. The other data that we have access to is our serverless functions data. So when you run a cron job, when you run a scheduled function or a background function or anything that makes your app dynamic, we also get logs for those functions that are running, and that data is available to drain. So it looks similar to your site traffic data, but you get more rich fields about the function type and the duration and the invocations and all of that that you wouldn't necessarily get with your site traffic. This is an incomplete list on this slide, so you're going to want to go to the Netlify docs and look at the full list of everything and make sure that those data points that your team cares about are in that export, in that drain. So why do people even want log drains? If you're using analytics on Netlify, which is an add-on for your account, you'll know right away that it is super limited compared to what you might get with analytics with full-time analytics platforms. It's nice because it's privacy forward, and server-side analytics, and it gives you a really good bird's eye view of how your site's performing, but you only get certain charts and graphs that we provide for you, and you only get 30 days of data. So this is not really the best situation if you're trying to do quarter-over-quarter planning, or you need to audit something that happened on the website last month. 30 days of data is not going to cut it. It is very limited. To make it easy, but you don't get everything you might need. Similar with function logs. So if a function is processing and you want to get in and look at it and search across it and understand it, you can pause it and do all of that in real time, but very limited in how long we keep this functions log data available for you to explore. So there's a 7-day limit. You can look at a custom time frame, but it's got to be within that 7-day window. So often when people are choosing log drains for their account, it's because they need that data for a longer period of time. And the reasons why you might need it could be troubleshooting, alerting, auditing. You might need to persist that data so that you can access it for a report. Say you are concerned about fraud and you need to be able to go back in time and see who was hitting your website at a specific point. So all of these are good reasons to move the data into another system. When you get the data in a purpose-built system, you can do all kinds of automated things and build richer reports than what's available in the Netlify UI. So let's talk about how to integrate when you're ready to integrate. Hopefully you can imagine why it would be valuable to have the integration. We have out-of-the-box connections with some of our favorite tools in the monitoring space. There are so many great ones to choose from. Datadog, New Relic, Sumo Logic, and Logflare. All of these connect directly with one click in the Netlify application. I'm going to show you how to do that. But what if you're not using one of these tools? If your service, like Logtail, for example, allows you to authenticate with a URL and post data from one system to another with an endpoint, then you can do that. So we have a roll your own general HTTP endpoint option that might be an option for you if your service provider accepts passing data back and forth in that way. And then the other option is Amazon S3. So super popular to have an S3 bucket. What's cool about Amazon, if you're passing the data that way, it's going to be bundled. So you get it in kind of 5-minute increments instead of real-time streaming, but you get a lot of data. And then from S3, you can send it to another system. So that acts like a great storage center, but also a bridge for integrations that you might not be able to set up on your own. If that's for monitoring, machine learning, even Amazon S3 could be a good solution for you. So how do you actually set it up? The first thing you need to know is you have to have an enterprise plan. So if you go try to set this up today and you don't have this turned on for your account yet, you will not be able to get super far. So please do reach out to us. Make sure you've got that enterprise plan or you're in a POC where you can explore. Once you have that enabled, you're going to be able to set this at the site level. So for whatever site that you want to get that traffic data or functions data, you will go to your site settings, and that is where you'll configure the integration. Every one is a little bit different, but the general integration steps are kind of the same. It's copy pasta. You're going to go find your API key or your token. We'll give you some instructions about how to find the right one. You paste it into Netlify, tell Netlify what type of data you want to send over, and then you are good to go. So here is what that looks like in the account. So you can have a preview of how easy this is to set up. You select your option, you paste in your key. If you want to tag your specific service or application so that it's easier to filter in your logging service, you can do that at this point, and then you hit connect. So really something that you can do in between meetings while you're having a coffee break. It does not take a lot of time at all to get these systems connected to each other. If you're doing the HTTP endpoint option, rolling your own, very similar. So you're going to go into your service, confirm that it'll accept JSON and JSON data. You are going to look for a place to post data or send data to that's a URL, and then you're going to grab the related tokens you need to make the connection. The only trick with this one is you have to construct that URL yourself. So you will need like a text editor. I'm using a notepad sticky, somewhere where you can kind of put your query parameters onto your URL, copy all of that and bring it over to Netlify, and then that will be pasted into your full URL field. You'll save and make the connection that way. So pretty easy to follow whatever way you go. All right, so let's say you have log drains connected because it was so easy, but like you might be nervous that you're not monitoring the right things, or you might not really know where to start with observability. The great news is that Netlify and our partners have some really great dashboards that are pre-built for you for some of these solutions. So I know for Datadog and New Relic, there are quick start dashboards available, and they're already pre-configured with the things that we think are best practices for your team. So with Datadog, when you get that out of the box, we're going to show you the percentage of warnings and errors. We're going to show you functions, invocations over time. You can even, as you scroll down in this dashboard, you'll get your site data too. And so you have some charts and graphs and things that you can look at without doing any work whatsoever. Very similar situation at New Relic. We love the team at New Relic. They have core web vitals that you can explore. If you care about performance data, you can look at your trends over time for your traffic, errors, and pull different numbers onto your dashboard. And again, they've got a pre-made one that you can start with best practices. But if you want to go in and customize, same deal with Datadog and other providers, you can customize it to your team's needs. So beyond reporting, when something goes wrong, what is it that you're going to do? All of these tools have their own workflows for troubleshooting, but at a general super high level, it's all about being able to slice, dice, inspect, and watch for patterns, which is not something you can do in the Netlify UI with the limited system that we have. So just to get a feel for how different it is, if you're in Datadog and you are looking for a specific error, you can see how you can pivot based on the IP. Maybe you're getting attacked and all your traffic with errors is coming from a certain address, or you can pivot by device types or user agent. Everything in your system, your troubleshooting process, you need to be able to look across these different filters or facets and see what patterns are emerging so that you can pinpoint what the problem is. So Log Drains helps you get your data into a system where that is easy to do. And then even next steps is how do you configure alerts so that you only hear about these things you need to troubleshoot when there are real problems. You know, maybe you're out to dinner with your friends and you're going to get pinged and you need to pull your laptop out and start troubleshooting right away. You only want to get pinged if it's a real emergency and something major is happening to your application. These third-party services let you do that. So you're going to configure a monitor or an alerting policy based on a metric or your functions logs, certain errors. All of that's configured inside your third-party system. You can set thresholds, and often these tools will let you say whether you want to be alerted over Slack or email or a queue for a different team, and you can configure all of that in these providers, and even mute alerts, like if you're getting alerted on something that's too noisy. Things, again, that you can't do with Netlify, but that you can do with these integrated Log Drains connections. So this is really the direction that you want to go if you want to be proactive about monitoring your application if it's mission critical. We've looked at Datadog, and New Relic also has some intelligence for this as well. You can see what they have out of the box in their policies that they would let you configure. So we moved really, really quick, but just to recap, here's what we covered. Log Drains enable reporting, troubleshooting, and alerting that you cannot do with Netlify today. Getting started is super easy. You can make these connections and integrations in an afternoon. Pre-made dashboards like our quick starts, which will send you the links, will let you get started with best practices and know that you're kind of looking at the right things if you're unsure. And then ultimately, you're going to need to customize your observability program and your alerts to your own team's needs. So be sure to go check out the resources from your third-party providers, whatever systems that you integrate, to make sure that you are getting the most out of those systems and that you're following guidelines for how to get your alerts configured in a way that won't be keeping you up at night. So that is everything that I had to present in the 10-minute speed run. How did we do on time?
Amazing on time. It's so hard to fit everything into a speed run session, but I think you did it, Melanie. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I heard you say once, if you're interested in monitoring, how could you not be? How could you not be interested in analytics? We got some great questions from the audience here. If you have a moment, let's get to the Q&A, and then I'm going to announce the winners of our Amazon gift cards. First question came up, and let's see if I can make sense of this one. Charles is asking, can we make use of log drains for collecting synthetic monitoring of end user sessions? And he is using React.js as a front end and Shopify as a back end.
Ooh, okay. So synthetic monitoring is a little bit different, right? Because you're basically configuring a robot to go visit your website all the time, and then you're gathering that data out into another system where you can alert and try to get ahead of errors before they even affect real user traffic. So everything that we're looking at Netlify's data is real user traffic to your site. It's not synthetic. It is definitely possible to integrate synthetics with Netlify, but I don't think log drains are like necessarily the way you could do that. You can run your synthetics independently, but great question from Charles.
Awesome. Here's one I'm super excited that Alexi has asked, which is, what plans on Netlify actually include log drains? How do I get it?
How do you get it? So log drains is an advanced feature that is only available on an enterprise plan. So it's not available as an add-on for free or pro or business. But the enterprise plans are super customizable, and you also get a lot of other benefits when you go to enterprise, like access to the high performance edge network, more proactive support engineering, and like all kinds of custom billing and account management, role-based access control sort of things that you might not get with pro or free. So if you're interested in exploring this, definitely talk to us and we can help you find the right plan for your team's needs.
Absolutely. We have consultants standing by to answer all your questions about configuring a plan just for you, Alexi. Okay, now here's a really great one for you, Melanie. Thought leadership time. What do you think is going to be the evolution of tools in terms of reporting and visualization?
Oh boy, what is the evolution of tooling? I think what we've seen is a lot of maturity. Some of these tools that we use for observability have been in the market for a long time, and they're really getting better at being more predictive and opinionated and snappy and beautiful in terms of the way they present data. So I think we're going to see the existing tools in the space get like even easier for enterprise teams to use. But certainly we're also seeing providers coming in and saying, some of these really robust tools may be overkill for a startup, or they may be overwhelming in the way they present information. So I think we'll also see like lower end, scrappier things come on the market too, to say like, this is really like the bare bones of what you need, and we'll reduce that cognitive overhead. But what I have seen is a lot of improvement in the space in terms of the way they present information and staying beautiful and easy to navigate, is my opinion.
Awesome. I love the thought about an opinionated tool. Maybe these AI bots are becoming incredibly having their own opinions. So thank you, Jose Manuel, for that question. And lastly, it's really just a request for the slide deck, which I think we can send out in the resources, actually, which takes us to maybe the next slide, talking about we will be sending out some resources. And I think we have, Melanie, I think you have your QR code on the next page. So if you want to reach out, ask more questions, please do that. Before we end here, please allow me to award some gift cards. All right, so we have got, thank you so much for showing up today. As Melanie has said, we will send out an email with some additional resources, and we'll try to get that slide deck per your request. Here are the winners. We have an Alexia Johnson, an Emily Blake, and a Robert Benson. If you are here, you are winners of our $250 USD gift cards, Alexia Johnson, Emily Blake, and Robert Benson. If you, we will be sending out an email to you with the email you registered with. And if you don't hear from us, please feel free to contact events@netlify.com if you didn't hear from us and you want to claim your gift. So with that, I thank you so much, Melanie, for doing a speed run session. This recording will be live in about 24 to 48 hours on the Netlify resources page. And again, we'll be sending out an email with a link to it just as soon as we can. So thank you again for spending 22 minutes with us this morning on Log Drains. And thank you again, Melanie. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, Samara. Bye, y'all.
Bye.